Hello everyone and welcome back to Neptune's Child Tarot. My name is Monique and this is my second tarot channel here on YouTube. For those of you that are new, welcome. You may also want to check out my main tarot channel, Moon Moth Goddess, where I do have a bunch of other pick a card readings posted for you guys into playlists. For those of you that would like to book a private reading, I do have my email down below in the description box where you can send me an email and I will provide you on more information on booking readings as well as other services that I do provide. So today's pick a card reading, we are doing how can you unlock your hidden potential? Okay, how can you unlock your hidden potential? We do have 3 piles for you guys today. From left to right, we have a red jasper. In the center, we have a dark green fancy jasper, and then for pile number 3 we have a MookaiteJasper, which is kind of like a mustard yellow color. Okay, so pile 1, this is going to be yours here with the red jasper for pile 1. Pile number 2, we have the fancy jasper, and this is a dark green for pile number 2. And then pile number 3, we have this MookaiteJasper. And I think it does have a little brown spot at the bottom. So pile number 3 with the MookaiteJasper. Okay. So pause the video if you need a little bit more time to meditate on the piles or the crystal that you feel is calling to you the most. Timestamps are down below and I will see you guys at your reading. Hi pile 1, so those of you that resonated with the red jasper, this is going to be our reading today. So we're finding out how can you unlock your hidden potential. So we're going to look at your oracle cards. We're going to actually put everything out together so I can look at everything, but we'll put your oracle at the top and then we'll do the tarot at the bottom. So we have telekinesis with influence, willpower, control, and obstacles. We have authentic. We have number 17. There are other conversations. And this is a number 16. There are other conversations. We have number 30 with enchanted. We have weightlessness. And then we have number 50, the tattoo fairy. Okay, so let's get your tarot out. And I think I may have pulled one too many tarot, so you might have to just like really squeeze it in so it doesn't chop it off later. Okay, so we have the 6 of Wands. I'll try to squeeze all this in. We have Judgment. We have the 9 of Swords. I'm just going to slide that under there. We have the 7 of Swords. We have the Page of Cups. We have the 2 of Cups. And then we have the 8 of Cups. Okay, yeah. I want to make sure this all fits in here, because when I edit it later, it automatically crops it down. And I don't want it to cut off the sides of the cards. Okay, so our question today is, how can you unlock your hidden potential? Okay, now, I feel like the first part of this that is important is addressing any type of anxiety or fear that you might have about pursuing what it is that brings you happiness, fulfillment, you know, because I'm noticing you have the Seven of Swords energy here. And the Seven of Swords is a card of illusion or even scattered thinking. It's a card of escapism. And it's, you know, can sometimes be when we have a lot of disorganized thoughts. I'm noticing there's an owl here, and the owl is just like reading and reading and reading this book. And there's like, you know, so I almost feel like gathering information with regard to what it is that you are feeling called to, because you do have Judgment here, and Judgment is about a rebirth. It's about finding renewal within inside of the self, within the soul. And so Judgment is about us answering the call of our soul. And I feel like for you, identifying what fears, what insecurities are kind of holding you back. And of course, once you identify it, we don't always know how to stop doing a certain thing, right? Especially with the Nine of Swords energy here. The Nine of Swords is anxiety. It is overthinking, overanalyzing, you know, getting stuck in our head. And our mind, in a way, can be our own worst enemy, right? Our own sabotaging or even self-limiting beliefs that can hold us back. And so I am seeing the Eight of Cups energy here. The Eight of Cups is a card of letting go or walking away from things that no longer serve you, whether that be a relationship, a friendship, a family situation, or even a way of thinking. Okay, because this to me right here, and this is more mental than anything, this to me is the kind of ungrounded energy that needs to first off be released. Okay, Judgment can also be letting go of burdens, pains, guilt, shame, things that we're holding on to that could be holding us back, right? So it's kind of taking a look at what maybe baggage from our past that we're holding on to, energetic or emotional. It can also be, I feel like, us being less judgmental of ourselves, okay, where we can be criticize the self or have a lot of our internal dialogue that makes us feel like there's something that we can't accomplish or we don't believe in ourselves. I don't know why I keep hearing imposter syndrome. Okay, imposter syndrome. And I was kind of hearing that when I put out the Seven of Swords. So maybe for some of you, it's really needing to maybe do some research on that, you know, because like I said, sometimes we have a certain way of thinking or behaving and we don't really know how to fix it. Right? We don't know how to move beyond it because sometimes it's the only way that we've done things or, you know, thought about things. So kind of being able to unlock the potential within you is also getting beyond a lot of those self-limiting beliefs or self-sabotaging thoughts or overthinking, overanalyzing. And some of you where imposter syndrome might be something that resonates for you, you know. The Eight of Cups would be letting go of that, walking away from that. Or, you know, the Eight of Cups is also about setting out on a journey of discovering the self, right? So maybe identifying like, what is it that is stopping you from discovering the potential within inside of yourself? Is it your own limitations here, right? Page of Cups is also for focusing on self-love, okay? So for some of you, this can really be, you know, spending some time removing yourself away from people or situations that are not really in alignment with you. If you're curious, right, and you're wanting to kind of explore, I'm kind of noticing this whale, and he's in the middle, or it is in the middle of the ocean, right? And there's all of these little penguins that are standing in a line up here, and they all look like they're gossiping. Okay, they're looking at this whale by itself. leaving this Arctic area behind, and all the penguins are just talking and talking, like, look at this whale go, where does he think he's going, like all this kind of stuff. So they're like, they look like to me like they're doing all the talking. And the Eight of Cups is when we choose ourself. It is when we are setting out on a journey of discovering the self. Okay? And I feel like this is a time for you to really work towards finding balance and union with inside of the self. Okay? This can be connecting more in with your higher self, with finding balance and union between both your feminine and your masculine energies. And it may serve to really work on self-love. I'm noticing that this Page of Cups too looks like it's kind of staring inside the cup and there's nothing in there. All the fish are surrounding here, but it looks like it's staring inside the cup and there's nothing in there. So maybe for some of you there is a need to focus on tapping into your your potential, your creative potential, exploring your creative energy, maybe something that you're wanting to do here as well. Okay. And the Page of Cups is also about intuition, and it's also about the inner child. Okay. So I feel like a lot of this energy is you connecting with your inner child, because that is where your, what did I want to say with that? That is where your limitless potential is. Limitless creative energy that you have is connected into the inner child. Okay. With the Six of Wands energy, this is also about you also understanding that you don't need validation from anyone. Okay. You validate yourself. And so I feel like, especially with judgment, this card could literally be about judgment, other people judging, right? Just like these little penguins here look like to me like they're up there, like, look at him go. Like, where is he going? Where does he think he's going? And he's kind of just like on his journey off by himself, right? I'm going to go explore, right? The depths of other places in the ocean versus just kind of staying here. So if you're kind of really wanting to unlock the potential that lies within you, it requires you to kind of do a deep dive into the self, right? With more or less, we can see this whale here that looks like it's doing a backflip, into the ocean or just coming out of it. But the water to me is a lot of this very intuitive energy. I'm also seeing like the full depth of the subconscious, your feelings and your emotions. So it's kind of like identifying what the obstacles are. It doesn't mean that, you're going to have a solution right away to say, okay, how can I get past this? But like I said, look at this owl here. The owl has all of these books, all this knowledge that is accessible to it. So if you are feeling like, let's just say you're trying to get past the insecurities or fears or the doubts, the worrying, the stressing, right? There's always resources that are available to you to be able to help you to move past that. Okay? The owl looks like it's gathering information, doing some research here, right? So if you are someone who does have anxiety, maybe you look up ways that you can help to alleviate some of your anxiety, or maybe find out where the fear is coming from, right? Whatever this is that is blocking you from tapping into that, because I feel like sometimes our mind can be a big block with regard to us tapping into the potential that lies within us, right? So, I mean, some of you might be able to kind of even reach out to a person, professional help, right? That can help you with that as well. The other thing that I'm seeing here is the weightlessness. And the weightlessness to me is also tied into this energy of judgment, because the weightlessness is about you releasing things that you've been holding on to, right? Maybe they are judgments or criticism about yourself or about other people judging you, for a certain skill or a talent or something that you have. And And so the weightlessness to me is about you just allowing yourself to be free, you know? Like she looks like she's got nothing here that, or yeah, nothing there that is holding her back, you know? Nothing that is holding her back there. I'm also seeing authentic here. So to me, with the authentic, it is you. I feel like learning to be more accepting of yourself and your differences from other people, not comparing yourself to others, right? Like I said, not really needing to have validation or not needing it at all, right? Sometimes we place too much value in the opinions of other people and what they think and what they feel of us, right? Sometimes there's certain things that we want to do with that Nine of Swords, and the anxiety or the fear is something that blocks us, right? Instead of us being able to just kind of flow into this Page of Cups energy where we can, create our dreams, bring things to life. And the Page of Cups energy is Pisces energy ruled by Neptune. And so this can be something that is very, very beautiful. The Page of Cups is about, like I said, intuition, creative energy, the arts, music, poetry. And I'm feeling for some of you, you are creatives. Those of you that chose this pile, this is the only archetype that's here, the Page of Cups. So I feel like you are someone who is very creative. And it's time for you, most definitely, to unlock that potential, right? But in order for us to discover that, again, we have to move past the fears and actually spend some time with ourselves, right? Because the Eight of Cups leads into the energy of the Hermit. And the Hermit is about setting out on a journey of discovering the self. It is a solo journey. It is one where we deep dive into the self. We do some healing. We do some shadow work. We do some really discovering who we are, right? In our authenticity, right? Look at this moon, how she's got her, looks like little stars here that look like they're like earrings that are hanging down. And then all that forest almost looks like she's got like some crazy hair, right? But it's like, that's her. That's how she wants to show up. That's who she wants to be. That's who she feels she is. It's a way of her expressing herself, right? The moon. And so I feel like the key for many of you to unlocking your hidden potential is hidden in the element of, I would say, the feminine, okay? Because that is our creativity and our intuition. We also have the moon here. And then I'm seeing you also have the tattoo fairy. Okay, she's actually covered in tattoos. But she's got tattoos everywhere, right? All over her legs, her arms, her chest, underneath her eyes. So to me, this is another way of creatively expressing yourself, right? She's very different, right, than all the other fairies that are in the land, or however you want to think about that. She has a way of feeling that these tattoos that she's put on her body are ones that are a part of her, in that they express a certain aspect of herself, something that she's feeling from within, right? So to me, I'm kind of seeing this as another form of expression, okay? Another thing that I'm seeing here with the Enchanted is this little, she looks like an elf. She's got little elf ears here. But there's all these butterflies that are here, okay? So to me, this is transformation. So how can you unlock your hidden potential? By being open to change, by being open to transforming, right? By being open to doing something different, to changing things up, right? Because sometimes, I'm sure, because I've been there too before, where there are things that you want to do, things that you dream about doing or becoming, right? But again, those fears are things that kind of get in the way. And so I feel like instead of going back into old ways of thinking, we can be open to changing our perspective and the way that we see ourselves. She also looks like she's manifesting here, you know, like she's manifesting. And then we have telekinesis here, and it says influence, willpower, control, and obstacles. So to me, this is also about you paying attention to the people that you do surround yourself with, right? Being protective of your energy and keeping yourself in an environment or a space that allows you to grow, to evolve, right? Sometimes we can be in certain relationships or have certain family dynamics or friendship type of situations that don't allow us to grow, that don't allow us to evolve, right? So there are other conversations here. It looks to me like she's kind of staring out the window here, and there's an owl that's right there. You know, an owl that's there. So it kind of gives me this vibe. Not only is the owl someone who's sharing, we have that here too, the little owl that's sharing wisdom and knowledge there, but this more or less to me is about you listening, right? Listening to your intuition, okay? It can also be listening to where the anxiety is coming from, the fear is coming from, okay? Is what I will say with that as well. So I feel like it is a lot of identifying, because this also reminds me of the Ace of Swords. Identifying where your fears kind of get in the way. Where is it coming from, right? Like I said, you may not know right away how to get rid of it, right? How to unblock yourself from certain ways of thinking. But I feel like I said, looking at this owl here, the owl looks like it's spending time to learn, right? How can I move past the anxiety or the fear or the overanalyzing or the overthinking, right? I feel like, to me, this kind of looks like your power of your mind, and that you are in control of your decisions, your choices, versus, and you having the willpower, right, to make changes that lead you into discovering the potential that you have hidden within inside of yourself, but also identifying if there are any obstacles maybe outside of yourself that could be creating resistance or blockages that are there. And so I feel like for many of you, like I said, identifying where those limitations are, asking for help if necessary, maybe from professional help, but also the Page of Cups energy is exploring your creative energy, right? Focusing on self-love, spending time alone, right? Identifying what things in your life are not in alignment and having enough courage and willpower to let go of them, especially if you feel like certain situations or things kind of have an influence over you, right? Like I said, sometimes we can surround ourselves with certain family members, certain friends. And just to kind of give you an example of what I'm saying, like let's just say you have a family of 4 people, okay? You've got mom, dad, you've got brother, sister, and then there's you, okay? It's a family of 5. And then there's you, okay? And then you have these dreams, these goals, these desires of things that you want to do, things that you dream about, right? And then you have siblings who are on a very different path than you, right? And they are going here, going that, doing this, doing that, which is something very different than what you want for yourself that you're doing. And then you might talk to your parents, right, about what your dreams are or what you envision yourself doing. And then your parents don't agree with that, right? Maybe because they're someone who grows up with maybe a self-limiting belief themselves, or lowered self-esteem, or a lack of confidence, right? So that type of energy surrounding you could put you in a place where you feel discouraged to even want to do what it is you really want to, because you grow up kind of thinking okay, this is something that is outside of the realm of possibility for me. It's never going to happen. So I should just forget about it, right? And end up suppressing this creative energy, or just having a creative block altogether, right? Your upbringing, of course, can also impact the way that you view yourself, the way that you see yourself. Low self-esteem, lack of confidence, right? Fear can be something that block out your potential with inside of yourself, right? So I feel like it first and foremost starts with you, the way that you see yourself. And for any of you that do get kind of caught up or stuck in a place of fear, that the working on the self-love is going to be something that really helps you to change the way that you feel about yourself, so that you learn to be more confident, to listen to what your soul is calling you, leading you towards, right? To know that these things are possible, right? It gives you kind of the space and the environment to grow, to change, to evolve, and to fully allow yourself to express who you are, no matter what way in which you choose to express it, right? We've got the moon here. She's got some hairdo and her earrings, looking like a rock star. And then we've got this tattoo fairy over here who wants to kind of do things a little bit differently, right? So yeah, to me, this is about you not being ashamed, not holding guilt, not, holding on to any of those feelings and those emotions that are holding you back from truly taking the time to discover yourself, to find out who you are, what you like to do, what things are you feel drawn to, what skills you might have, right? By allowing yourself to explore that, right? You might pick up a little hobby of liking to paint, right? And it's like you say, okay, well, you know what? I can never paint. I've never painted before. I can't paint. So it's kind of like you automatically kind of shoot yourself down and give up on yourself, right? Because you feel like, oh, it's never going to happen. Can't do it, right? A lot of that negative self-talk. So this is actually giving yourself permission, right? To explore, to discover more about yourself. And it comes through you taking the time, right, to actually do that. Because like I said, some people don't. It's like you have these dreams and things that you want to do, and it ends up being so much untapped potential that you have within inside of yourself because you were too afraid to choose that path, too afraid to make that choice or that decision, right? You let fear hold you back and limit the potential that you have or that you're able to bring forth within this lifetime, right? So yeah, I'm feeling like giving yourself permission to change, right? Giving yourself permission to transform, especially when it comes to your way of thinking, right? Because no matter how old you are, right, we can be very set in our ways in that we are raised kind of like with a self-limiting belief. And then it's never too late, right? To be able to change the mindset, the mentality, and to be open to transforming, growing, evolving, right? Into a better version of self where you can tap into that. But it more or less is about you. I feel like an important thing is surrounding yourself with good people, right? Keeping your own life in balance is another thing, right? Stable, grounded, and then also releasing anything, like I said, that is not really serving you. Okay? So that is all that I have for you, pile number 1. And like I said, I feel many of you that chose this, you're creatives. Okay? Very creative energy that you have. And there's whatever way you choose is to, whether you choose to do it with artwork or music or poetry or writing or any other creative form of expression, I feel like you guys have a lot of it. And I feel like the key to you tapping into that is connecting in with your inner child. Okay? Doing things that you remember you used to like to do when you were young, and kind of doing that again. Something that you really liked, you really enjoyed, and then just kind of going with it, right? Now as an adult, you can say, okay, let me think about this again. Now that I'm older, where can I go with this? Right? Where can I go with this? Okay, so that is all that I have for you, pile number 1. I do hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next reading. Hi, pile 2. So those of you that resonated with the fancy jasper, this very dark green crystal, this is going to be your reading today. So we're finding out, how can you unlock your hidden potential? So we are going to pull out all of your cards. We're going to start with the oracle. So we have opening circle. It says protection, ritual, lessons, and simplicity with card number 33. We have relax. We have card number 39, the garden of hallowed moonlight. We have card number 59, wild violet. And then we have squaring the circle. And then we have daydreaming. Daydreaming. Okay, let's see what your tarot have. We have the 8 of Swords. We have the Knight of Wands. We have the 5 of Cups. We have the 3 of Cups. We have the 2 of Wands. The Devil. And the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. So the first thing that I'm kind of noticing, and this is kind of similar to pile 1, I've noticed with this question today especially, it is bringing forth the question, how can you unlock your hidden potential? This is, I feel like, for the most part, about identifying where your limitations are, especially the ones that you have within your mind. Because a large part of this, I feel like, is about getting past your own fears, your own insecurities about going in a certain direction that you want to, exploring a part of yourself that you've yet to explore, discovering something new within inside of yourself, okay? And the one thing that I'm noticing here is three things, okay, that I'm seeing here as blockages. The 8 of Swords, the 5 of Cups, and the Devil, okay? And it's important, I feel like, because you also have squaring the circle here. And I didn't know what this was. I still don't kind of understand it a little bit, but I'm going to read to you guys what this is. And then it is basically the process of alchemy, though. Okay, so it kind of reminds me of transmutation of energies and as above, so below kind of thing. But the 8 of Swords energy is restriction. Okay, it is us keeping ourselves stuck in a mental prison of negative thinking. Okay, so it's basically like a mental trap that we put on ourselves. Okay, the Devil also brings about that energy of oppression, of fear, of doubt, of karmic or toxic patterns of behavior, ways of thinking, anything that just kind of blocks us, okay? And then you have the 5 of Cups energy here too, and the 5 of Cups can be a feeling of hopelessness, a feeling of disappointment, right? So if you've gone through things in the past where you have tried to do something new, go after something that you really wanted or you really liked, you know, or even feel like let's just say if you went after a specific job or a career and it didn't happen for you or it didn't work out, and it's kind of like once you start to feel, okay, well, I already tried that in the past and it didn't work, I failed, so what's the whole point of me trying again? You know, so sometimes these energies can be ones that really affect us and keep us from wanting to try again, right? Where we end up feeling very defeated, okay? That would be the blockages that I'm kind of seeing here. Now, I feel like the important things for you, why this is important with this squaring the circle energy, and this is from, what is this? The Modern Nirvana Oracle. And it says, in alchemy, the metaphor of squaring the circle relates to mastery over our inner and outer operations. Understanding the correspondences in nature and in mathematics, the master alchemist can see the relationship between that which is above and that which is below, that which is within and that which is without. They are able to see the significance of all changing seasons, the wisdom in the differences of the elements, and the intelligence in the directions. Becoming one with the four, their vision is whole, as all transitions of time are fully appreciated. As a conceptual meditative practice, let us incorporate this idea into a breathing technique called box breathing, as we seek to master our minds and operate from the grace of self-mastery. Okay? So it does have a little breathing exercise in here that it talks about, but the mantra for this card says, I am one with the elements, seasons, directions, and sky. I am complete in my understanding of the infinite and perfect why. I've squared the circle and see life and the philosopher's mind. There's gold in this perspective, and I appreciate this clarity of my inner eye. Okay? So being that this is talking about the process of alchemy, self-mastery, right? Where we can kind of apply this to these emotions, disappointment, in a way, these energies can be ones that are very self-sabotaging, right? So the way in which you can unlock your hidden potential is, right, recognizing where you feel discouraged or disappointed or hopeless, or you have some negative thoughts that keep you stuck. Identify the devil energy within you, right? This is our shadow. This is our ego, right? Our ego serves to protect us, but it can also sabotage us, right? Because if we failed in the past with doing something, we can feel that fear, that failure again, right? So I'm noticing you have relax here, and she looks actually like she's reading a little book here, like she's kind of sitting down in a chair reading. So this is about you bringing about peace, calmness in your mind so that you can identify, like I said, where your limitations are to be able to transmute these energies here. We have daydreaming, which is also a very beautiful, can be meditative practice, right? Where you have some type of dream, some type of vision of what it is that you want to discover within inside of yourself, right? Sometimes in this space of us just relaxing and meditating, right? You can be in a very meditative state when you're reading. She's out in nature here. Okay? This little wild violet fairy here too, she's sitting at the top of a little mushroom here. This one too, she's kind of sitting outside. She's got a hot cup of tea or coffee. She's staring out at the moon, right? So it's all this very beautiful meditative space and energy. So I feel like in order for you to unlock your hidden potential, right, identifying where the fears are, working towards transmuting these lower vibrational energies that we all have, right, at one point or another in our life for us to work through, but also spending time, getting lost in your thoughts in a way that you spend time in nature, read. This can be just literally just looking out at the stars, right? Looking up at the night sky, spending time in nature, because it is in this space that you're truly able to kind of tune into your soul, right? And where it is that your soul is kind of guiding you. And then you have the little Two of Wands energy here, and this dragon looks like it's right at a crossroads, right? There's one path here, one path there, and that's the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is a card of planning, right, for the future, the next step. And so at this point, it's you being guided on your path with where you want to explore, where you want to discover, right? The Three of Cups energy is also creative energy, but it's also the support of others, right? So this can be surrounding yourself with like-minded people, right? Like, let's just say you are someone who is interested in singing, right? And you feel like, okay, well, I don't have a lot of practice. I haven't really sang professionally, or I don't really know what I'm doing, but I like singing, right? You can surround yourself with people who, let's just say, they do sing, right? And there is love and there is support that is there with those bonds, those connections, those friendships, with people, right? That'll help you to guide you along your path, right? So I feel like a lot of that is you being open to connecting with other people. If you're someone who, let's just say, the majority of the time you spend alone, maybe this is connecting or spending time with people who inspire you, you know, and surrounding yourself with those people that are mentors to you, or who are at a certain place in their life where you really admire, you know. Not to say that you have to do exactly what that person does, but that can start this whole process of you kind of taking time to look within inside of yourself. Say, okay, what do I have within me, you know? And then you have the Knight of Wands energy here too. And the Knight of Wands is a lot of unbridled, creative, passionate energy, you know? And it is about you allowing that passionate, creative energy to lead you on your path, right? Where you don't have or let these doubts or fears be something that blocks you, right? The Queen of Pentacles is also about nurturing, right? Keeping yourself grounded, nurturing what that gift is, right? Because like I said, you might have an idea like, oh yes, I like singing, and you might not have all the proper training and things like that. But it's like, once you really focus and that's what you know your heart is really wanting, when you can dedicate and commit yourself to that, right? Set a goal for yourself. Like, I'm going to start working on my singing. I'm going to start working on this part of my career. I feel passionate about it and it's something that I want to do, right? I feel like minimizing, another thing too, because I'm seeing opening circle here and it says protection, ritual, lessons, and simplicity. So to me, this is also, again, surrounding yourself with people who are supportive, who are able to give you advice, support, love, which is also what this little wild violet fairy is about, is love. Okay. And so I feel like this is how can you unlock your hidden potential, is also you learning to love yourself, truly loving yourself, truly nurturing yourself. Okay? Because when you do that, it's going to build up the amount of confidence that you have within inside of yourself to be open to exploring, to be open to discovering. And when you find something within that you really love or you feel really drawn to, you put your energy towards it, right? You put your energy towards it and it turns into, and I'm also feeling with the daydreaming there, some of you could be imagining yourself, right? Using that as part of your manifestation as you, let's just say you are singing, right? You're imagining yourself on a stage and you are singing and all of these people are there and they're all watching you and they're applauding, and you know, someone's discovering you in the audience and telling you, hey, you know, I would love for you to go and sing over here, or you need to be on this show, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. It's kind of like you just allowing your imagination to take you into places that maybe certain fears or worries that you've had were never allowed you to get to, you know? So I feel like there's something amazing in that if you actually shift your focus towards, you know, putting your energy towards it, committing yourself, dedicating yourself, nurturing, right, the potential that you do have within inside of yourself, it's just being open to discovering it. Okay. What else are we seeing here? Yeah, a lot of nurturing here. What else? I feel like And sometimes we can be really worried too about what other people are going to think as well. So I feel like a lot of this is you also learning to be open to stepping outside of your comfort zone. Okay? Stepping outside of your comfort zone is going to be something that really helps you to work with a lot of this passionate energy. Okay? I feel like many of you too are really good or would be really amazing at manifesting abundance as well. Manifestation, being that you have the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands, and the squaring the circle energy here. Makes me feel like you guys are very powerful manifestors, are really needing to tap into that energy. I feel like that is part of what your potential is that is undiscovered for some of you. It's like if you let yourself get discouraged so easily, you might give up on those things, right? And maybe just dream about them, but never being able to actually make it happen. And I feel like this power, even with the devil energy, because the devil can be something positive for us. It's not always negative, right? Every single tarot card has a shadow aspect to it, right? The devil is notorious for being all those things that create a lot of oppressive energy and, you know, confinement and restriction. But the devil can also be us being very powerful, okay? Very powerful. And so I feel like it's about you also discovering that within inside of yourself, you know, using this to your benefit. In a way, like desire, right? Because that desire can go good in a way that you desire to manifest wealth or abundance, or you desire to manifest love, whatever it is that you're wanting to bring about in your life. But yes, I feel like a huge part of this is identifying, right? Where your limitations are, what type of self-limiting beliefs or negative thinking that you need to kind of get under control. Also, I would say with the 5 of Cups energy here too, because this can be very heavy feelings and emotions, right? That can be very discouraging, your own emotions. So I feel like a big part of that would also be about you stabilizing, you know, your feelings and your emotions so that you can, you know, focus on discovering certain parts of yourself, even certain parts of yourself that may have gotten lost in certain experiences that you've gone through in your past, right? Where you kind of shut or lock that part away of yourself. It's kind of like you spending the time to identify how these things have happened to you in the past and how you can let go of those certain ways of thinking or feeling enough for you to kind of discover who you truly are, what your talents are, what your gifts are. Can be truly beautiful, right? So many of you maybe grounding, spending more time in nature. You know, like I said, she looks like she's just kind of sitting outside, actually, sitting on the grass with a little cup of tea, maybe, and just kind of staring at the moon, you know, relaxing. Because like I said, it is in that space where you're very meditative, where all of these ideas come to you from spirit, right? All of this inspiration of things that spirit is kind of bringing to you. Okay. And maybe for some of you with the simplicity here, this can be removing stressors out of your life, right? That allow you the peace, the calm, so that you can actually focus on yourself, right? Versus other people or other situations that are going on in your life that are taken away from you. This is a time for you to kind of give back to yourself, right? Nurture the self. Okay. That's what I'm seeing here. So that is all that I have for you. Pile number 2, I do hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next reading. Hi, pile 3. So those of you that resonated with the MookaiteJasper, this is going to be your reading today. So we're finding out, how can you unlock your hidden potential? So we are going to put out all your cards so I can see them all together. So we have Baraka with power, strength, force, and expansion, card number 21. We have nurture. And I will say, looking at all the piles already, because this is the third one we're doing now, or I'm doing now, all the messages are very similar. Okay, have a very similar theme. So if you felt called to another pile, I would listen to that, because I feel like it's kind of like this whole continuation of everything that's coming through today. Okay, so let's see. We have 37. It says her little cauldron. Her little cauldron. We have a forget-me-not. We have the rose phoenix. And then we have winter solstice. Winter solstice. Okay, let's put out the tarot now and see what you guys have. We have the Four of Swords. The Knight of Cups. The Wheel of Fortune. The Four of Pentacles. Temperance. King of Wands. And then we have the Hierophant. Okay. Okay, so yes, very similar messages that are coming out. And I want to make sure that all these fit, because when I edit this later, it might crop it. And I want to make sure that everything is fitting in here. But for you guys, pile number 3, the first thing that I'm noticing, kind of identifying where there might be some blockages here, is the Four of Pentacles is kind of what I'm seeing. Okay. The Four of Pentacles energy here is, for some of you, I feel like this is the comfort zone. Okay. Being afraid to take a risk in life, being afraid to step into your power fully. This can definitely be an energy of us clinging on to something or attachment to something. And there is more or less a need for you to learn how to start going with the flow, I feel like, and really stepping into your power. Being that you do also have the King of Wands energy, which is about the mastery of the element of fire, okay? Which is passion, it's creativity, it's confidence, you know, your self-esteem. So many of you that can be working on that, or your solar plexus chakra can be something that you want to do with that as well. I'm also feeling a need for rest, okay? A need for rest. And if that means kind of sorting out your sleeping schedule, or, you know, like making sure that you're kind of eliminating certain things close to bedtime, or making sure that you are getting adequate rest, especially if you're someone who works like very long hours, there's a need for you to kind of have that space and time for yourself where you can just kind of give back to you. Okay. For some of you, I'm also seeing about releasing attachments to certain things from your past. Okay. Is what I'm getting here as well. I feel like also allowing yourself to be open to exploring your creative energy. Many of you may benefit from connecting with a mentor, a teacher, somebody who can give you some type of knowledge or wisdom. And I feel like many of you that chose this pile are meant to be leaders. Okay, you're meant to be leaders. You're meant to be someone who kind of paves the way for other people. There's a very powerful energy in this pile, okay? But that to me is your untapped potential, okay? If I'm being honest with the King of Wands energy here, is that you are very powerful. And maybe this is something that you haven't discovered yet with inside of yourself. But with the Hierophant energy here too, that is a teacher. That is someone who is very wise. And maybe for some of you, you have a lot of knowledge or wisdom to share, okay, with others. I feel like with the Temperance energy, there is a need for balance, okay? And this could be transmuting any lower vibrational energies. It can also be about you creating more balance or equilibrium even within your own life, is what I will say there as well. Okay. I'm feeling healing the past. This pile feels a little bit different, okay, than the other two that were coming through. But I can see some similarities, but this one is a little different. The Rose Phoenix here is about you healing your past, okay? Being able to heal the past and also managing feelings and emotions in the present moment. Like I said, for some of you with the forget-me-not here, there are certain maybe people or connections and things like that, maybe even stuff from childhood that you're needing to focus on healing, right? Because once you're really kind of healing those things, for many of you, it could be things that were affecting your self-esteem, your confidence, your self-worth, okay? Because like I said, you're meant to be this King of Wands here. And I'm noticing we have power, strength, force, and expansion, okay? To me, that's tied into this energy here. And so there's a need for you to start to see yourself this way as the King of Wands, as the Hierophant, you know. What else am I seeing here? Yeah, many of you, I feel like a lot of this is just kind of stepping into your power here, which will be something that is very powerful for you, because I feel like many of you with this have some very powerful creative energies, and I feel like many of you are meant to inspire, you're meant to lead, you're meant to motivate, you're meant to, for many of you, teach, okay, healing, maybe something here. Some of you are naturally gifted healers, and it could really be tapping into that power there. And some of you may be natural spiritual teachers here as well. So nurturing, right? We have nurturing. So if you are someone who does hold these powers from within and it's just untapped right now, it is really nurturing. Maybe, I don't know, exploring, right? Exploring, learning. I'm seeing how she's kind of sitting down here underneath the tree with the owl in it, and she's reading a book, right? It's a very comfortable setting that's there. Even in her little cauldron here, she looks like she has this little quiet little space. So maybe for some of you, it's spending time alone in reflection, because with the winter solstice here too, that's a time of rest, right? So you have the restful energy here with the winter solstice. You have the Four of Swords energy here, which is a card of peace, calm within the mind, right? And it is during that time when you find peace from within that you start to be able to receive those downloads, those messages from spirit to really help you to tap into that energy, right? Where you can discover that about yourself. And I feel like a lot of that comes from you finding balance within inside of yourself with the Temperance card here. Okay, I want to kind of see what this little cauldron message is. This is from the Solitary Witch Oracle. So let's see, that is 37. Okay, it says, there is a woman who dwells in the most humble of circumstances. Far away in the distance is the castle, where some have chosen to dwell right in the midst of the world. They seem to have everything. She seems to have nothing. But there are times when they would swap all they have, their power and connections, for the true power of the woman in the woods. Her connection is true and deep. She knows the seasons and the animals, and she has lived in ways beyond the needs of others. It does not make or better or superior, but it is her destiny to live outside the very world that so many fight to live within. And the strangeness is that they need her. It is to her they turn for guidance and advice when they have wondered if there is even one true friend in this world. Her simple life, her solitary witch's life, has been without pretension, but it is filled with graceful power that flows from deep within her. And while it ebbs and flows, her light has never come close to dimming. She is sitting quietly now within the tree where so many spells have been woven. She has worked the magic for the others in the cauldron her mother passed on to her. She shares what she has in the ways she has, but she keeps her distance from the castle. Never does she desire to walk within the halls. Never does she wish to feel the gates close behind her. Her path, and yours, is freedom, born of choice, simplicity, and knowing that power comes from deep within. Everything you do is of help to others. Dear witch, you have chosen a kind of freedom that is hard, but it is the most rewarding of all. Okay? So it says the meaning is in service, but not in servitude, beholden to none. So to me, this speaks a lot too about sovereignty, you know, freedom. And maybe for some of you, it's in freedom that you discover what your hidden potential is within you. You know, it is a need to not fit into a mold for you. It is not, you know what I'm saying? Because with the King of Wands energy, that is a leader. The King of Wands is a leader, meaning that you do not follow, you're not meant to follow everybody else's path. You're meant to be different. You're meant to do your own thing, you know, and be able to kind of lead and inspire others. Like I said, I'm feeling many of you are just, this potential here with the Hierophant is just so powerful. It's very spiritual. It's very much about teaching and mentoring, you know, healing. And maybe you're healing in a creative way with the King of Wands energy. You know, doesn't need to just be about healing and things like that, or even teaching something spiritual in nature. But the King of Wands is a very powerful, very creative energy there. So I feel like it's important for you to maintain your independence. Okay. That might be something that really helps you to unlock that potential within inside of yourself as well. Okay. So that means if you are someone who is maybe has a tendency to be codependent, right? It can be working on releasing that as well. I'm feeling another thing that might help you is reconnecting with your higher self, okay? With your spiritual self. Maybe something that helps you to unlock that as well, because really it's just about you getting in touch with your soul, you know, what your soul desires. And, you know, for many of you that do believe in past lives, it's kind of like you're going back and remembering who you are, what your talents were, who you were, right, in your past life, and tapping into that again in this lifetime, right? It's in there. But yeah, to me, it's about releasing fears, worries, stepping outside of the comfort zone, transmuting that energy. Healing your past is also going to be an important tool for you. Nurturing, right? Maybe if you're someone who's looking up ways to feel more confident, right? Versus faking confidence. But how can I feel more confident? How can I have or create a higher self-esteem? For some of you, it could be healing certain things from your past that had affected your self-esteem in the past, right? And being able to heal that, and then trusting that you are aligning with your destiny, right? Paying attention to signs, synchronicities that are leading you on the path is also, I feel like, going to be something that's very important for you as well. What else am I seeing here? Yeah, the Wheel of Fortune is about a turning point in our life. It's about changes, right? So some of you, maybe there are some changes that are needed, right? I'm also noticing there's something very special about the environment here, right? She's secluded, and then we have this little witch here that's kind of sitting out by her hearth in the middle of the forest, you know? So maybe for some of you, it's reflecting on where you are, you know, if you're like a person who wants to just kind of spend some more time in nature, or even live closer to nature, be more connected into nature, okay? Maybe something that's very significant for you as well. I'm even noticing this Hierophant has a bunch of animals kind of around. I don't know if he looks very happy or not, but there's a bunch of little animals that are here, right? They all look like they're taking lessons, listening very closely to what this Hierophant cat says. So yeah, maybe finding your inner strength, finding your inner power, being open to change, being open to growth, so that you can unlock that hidden potential from within the self. And maybe that does start with you, you know, focusing on feeling more confident, right? Building up your self-esteem, believing in your power to lead others, inspire others, teach others, heal others, if that's something that you choose to do, okay? But I'm feeling definitely, like I said earlier, a big part of this is about you healing your past, right? Healing your past. Okay. So that is all that I have for you. Pile number 3. I do hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next reading.